Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have opened up my GitHub and I am going to search something or some project that I'm interested in. Specifically, I'm going to go to the MREAC, which is an organization, and there is a Git tutorial. I'm going to come and fork it because I want to make a copy that belongs to me because this belongs to MREAC organization. So I'm going to make a fork. I'm quickly going to see that, yes, that's the name that I want to keep. I'm going to create a fork. So when the fork is finally done, we can see that this is the Git tutorial, the name, which is, it says forked originally from which tutorial. So the credits are there, and you can go here to the code. And we're going to use SSH. We're going to ignore this for the time. We are copying to clipboard this specific address, the SSH address. And we're going to go to bash to clone the repository. So I'm looking where I am. I'm sort of navigating a little bit to see where I am. And I am on the root of my system. And I want to go into the desktop actually. And I see that I have some things. I have also made, and I will make a specific new directory, which I'm going to call git tests, which is and has now been created in my desktop. I can see it over here too. It got created on my desktop. I'm going to go into it. And I see that it is empty by listing the contents. So I'm going to come here and say git clone the specific, oops, I need to go back to get the link. However, it gives me the authenticity of host can't be established, which means that it talks a little bit about the SSH keys, which is something that we're going to get into. Do you want to connect with this remote repository that you don't know at this point who is the owner? And I'm like, yes, okay, sure. Let's continue. Of course, it won't let me because I need to authenticate myself as who I am as well and make sure that I, on the terminal, say who I am. And I also say who I am into GitHub, and then I will be able to make the connection. And how to do that is with the SSH key. And what the SSH key is some long string of random characters. They are randomly generated, but because randomness is very beautifully modeled, different algorithms, we're going to see how we're going to make that here. So I'm going to go back and yes, I have my GitHub. And for now, we're not going to work with GitHub directly. I'm going to Google generate a new SSH key GitHub. Because when you want something, most likely the GitHub documentation has it. Let's see. And I found the article generating a new SSH key and adding it to SSH agent. We're going to see what this is. And firstly, we need to generate a new SSH key. So I'm going to open the two things to each other. Firstly, we're going to generate the key on the terminal locally, not on GitHub yet, because this type of random string that's going to be generated is some sort of password that we're going to generate on our machine first. And then we're going to make a copy on GitHub. And then every time we try to make a connection between local and remote, they're going to try check if this key is the same, this word is the same. So we open GitHub, and then we will generate a key that is associated with a specific email account. And that's what it says here, SSH key generation. That's actually a command. Key generation. T, the flag T means the algorithm, and the algorithm we're gonna use here is the ED25519. There are many, and then the identity we're putting the email. So I'm gonna have it here on the side. Hope you can see it. And I'm like SSH. First, I'm gonna clear because what I'm going to do has nothing to do with Git. So I'm even gonna get out of I'm gonna just go on my root so that you can see how it works. It will work anywhere you decided, in whichever directory path you were. SSH key generation, TED20 2551.9 C Merita .net. It will create a key, and then it will ask you enter file in which to save the key. So you don't have to say anything here. It tells you that it's going to save it under its name, just for you to remember. I will just leave it like this. So you just press enter. Oh, it already exists. Override? Yes. I tried to make an example before. So I will override here. Enter a passphrase. So that is a little bit important. Just the password to access the key. And I'm going to put MRAC for simplicity. And I have to put it again. And it is created. And it will look something like this. Not important at this stage. And that is it. Those were all of the steps. Now we need to add this key, this password that has been generating. This password is written in this file, which is saved in this directory over here. There is this hidden folder called dot. Hidden all the folders that start with a dot. So in my root system users marita.ssh, there's a file that's called id_ed25519, which is going to be the password that has been generating with said algorithm, and it has the extension .pub because it's a public key. That is a term, actually. Private and public key are terms of cryptography, which we're not going to get into, but just so you know what the .pub means. And now this file, we need to add it on the SSH agent. And you can't really see very beautifully here the SSH agent because it's again some sort of storage entity that lives on the terminal. Of course, this is a very bad definition, but that's sort of what it is. And it can also be used in a command. So now first I need to start the SSH agent. And this is actually the only thing that I need to, that deviates a little bit from the tutorial, which is eval $SSH agent. Okay, so this command over here, this is what you have to do, eval and in quotations $parenthesis SSH agent, and it will sort of instantiate the agent. Now in this agent, you need to add the key. So what we're gonna do, you say SSH add, and then you go directly, and you could copy paste this, but I'm gonna write it because sometimes when you're trying to copy from the terminal, you might accidentally copy spaces. You might do something like this. So if I get an extra space, for example, this space that I have copied now, even though it's space, so it's empty for us, terminal actually sees it as characters. So I'm always, when I have to write something very clear, I always write like this so that it won't add any random characters. .ssh underscore id 19.pub. Oops. Okay. That is just because you didn't need the .pub at the end. You must not put it because the .pub is for the public key, but you want to put both of them, so you just put the name. Excellent. You enter the passphrase, which is mrac. And you get directly identity added. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna go back to what I was working on. So now you generated a passcode, you put it on your agent, like it lives on your machine, you have this password, and then what you need to do, you are authenticated when it comes to your local machine. So now in order to do it with GitHub, we'll follow the tutorial, but because I know it, I'll show you directly and let's see if I make any mistakes. Go back to your GitHub. Oh, yeah, you actually need to clip it. Let's see, I can't remember the command. I went back to the tutorial to remember the command. So the command is just clip. That is not a Git specific command. It is just something that I remember. We need to copy this key. And the way that you do that is instead of trying to find this file, because we do everything from a terminal now because we're fancy, we say clip for clipboard. And you assign, this means that you get like an arrow, you assign. Oops, I don't know in this keyboard where I have copy. That means, whichever the path is, that I want to go all the way to where I am now. That's my route. And I will go .ssh id underscore ed 2551 9. And I want a public key. I don't want the public and the private things. I want specifically the public key. I will say, okay, clip it. It got it. And now, be careful. I have it on my clipboard. I will just go to GitHub again. I have another tab open, not important at the moment. And I'm coming to my account. Be careful to not paste anything or copy anything else. Because if you do that, you just need to go back and just go back and clip it again. So I'm gonna go to my settings. I'm gonna go to my SSH keys, and I'll say new SSH key. Title MRAC. And then I'm gonna paste. It. It's here, and I'm adding SSH key. I'm really hoping I didn't do anything wrong. But now I have an SSH key. It's called MRAC. That's some sort of definition around it, and it has not been used. That is it. And now I have put the public key also on the GitHub. You will also get an email about, yes, you create an SSH key, because when it comes to security, it's very important. So I'm going to clear here. I'm going to navigate to my Git tests repo, which is where I want to, which is empty. And this in here is where I want to clone with SSH my repository. SSH. You don't need the HTTPS anymore. You can go directly to SSH. It's more secure, etc., etc. And you're gonna do git clone paste. Excellent. Here it is. I'm gonna go into that Git tutorial, and I'm gonna see, and it has contributors MD, README, tutorial MD. Excellent. But now I'm gonna also show you a very quick Git tutorial. I want to make some changes because I don't want the contributors file. So remove -rf is a very common command which is used to remove, to delete folders and files. It's permanent. It doesn't go to the bin. It's permanent. I'm gonna do that now. So if I say git status, it's gonna give me red that, oh, this file was deleted. And I'm like, yes, in my remote copy, I don't need it. So I'm gonna add this change. If you have made a lot of changes, you can say git add dot, and any change that you had is going to be added directly. You don't always want that to happen, so just take a note of that. So git add, so if I say git status now, I'm gonna say that I have something that's deleted, okay? And yes, git commit. Oops. Message. What did I do? Remove contributors. Excellent. I deleted that. Git status. It says, yes, everything is good, like you have a version, but your branch is ahead of origin main by one commit. That means that online, that means that I'm ahead by one commit. On my local machine, I have done an extra commit which does not exist on the my remote. So I'm gonna say, okay, do you know what? Git push. Excellent. And now when I go here, if I just refresh, I have it right here. The contributors.mt file is gone from here. And if I, for some reason, come here and I say, do you know what? I'm online, and say create new file, which I'm gonna call, authors.md. Commit changes. You can commit stuff online as well. So I'm online because I'm always on the go, and I decided to make it on the go. And now I'm going back to my scene and I'm like, okay, git status. Nothing. Yeah, everything is fine on the version that I have locally. But do you know what? I'm suspicious. Something is happening online. Git fetch, indeed, like I have stuff coming. That means that something has changed in the remote repository. Before I pull, I'm gonna say ls. I have the readme in the tutorial because I deleted contributors. So I'm like, do you know what? Git pull. So I'm pulling the changes from online. ls, authors is here. So this is also the fundamental way that you're going about for. That's a standard cycle to do Git as well. Hope this helps, and